serving the heart and soul of Gloucester. This is GFM.
It is 25 to 1, and I should have on the phone lines right now Robbie Wildcat Brookside. Robbie, are you there?
I'm here, H. I'm here.
Ah, Robbie, very pleased to meet you. Robbie is a British wrestler. I say British, but he's competed all around the world. And luckily, we're going to be having him at GL1 Leisure Centre in Gloucester on Saturday, the 4th of February at the Wrestling Rampage event. So, Robbie, are you looking forward to it?
I always look forward to going to Gloucester. It's sort of that with Bristol and Cheltenham are my favourite southwestern venues. And what Matt Jarrett's done at the G1, it's always a really good show, and with the emphasis on you can't disguise the fact that you've got to razzmatazz and Americanise the show up now, but by and large he uses British wrestlers, and you're encouraged to go out and use the technical side.
There's a lot of you guys down there, isn't there? I think is there 10 of you down there?
I think there'll be more than that. I think there should be about 14.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, they list the 10. I think they might be the international guys, but yeah, there's extra as well. And I'm hearing that there's an extra event on this one which features you, which is the heavyweight title. Yeah,
well, it sort of kicked off a little bit last time, and well, it was about 8 months ago now since the last show, and Matt got on to me directly afterwards and said, would I be up for challenging for the belt? So, of course, it's... So
the challenge is between you and Filthy Phil Powers, is this right?
Yeah, well, he's a very... he's not a tall heavyweight wrestler, he's very stocky and compact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6'2". So it's a good clash of styles. I've wrestled them before, and I've come off, better off. Probably the five. I think it's about 5 out of 5 now. So who's to say it's not going to be 6 out of 6 next week? But I'm not coming on here and saying, yeah, I'm gonna. You
see, all the other wrestlers I've interviewed quite several over the years, and normally they're all, yeah, I'm going to win. So you're erring on the side of caution. Is that your kind of tactic?
Well, I've been doing this is my 30th year.
Gosh!
As a full-time professional, so I've never taken anything for granted, and I've never put all my eggs into one basket. And for that reason, even though I've been in the job 30 years, and I've travelled the world and I've wrestled, I've had really big opportunities, which I didn't like America. I mean, I'd like to go public on this one now, because in our business, the internet is kind of like a dark world where people hide behind, keyboards and monitors. And I would rather someone come up to me and ask me a question, or, like what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And you can explain yourself in proper English. But I've had 3 opportunities to go to America. I lived in Atlanta for the best part of a year.
Wow.
And I just didn't like it.
Did you not?
No, I didn't like it at all. It was full of right-wingers and religious nutters who were knocking on my door, trying to get me to...
what are your views on... Because I think I was watching on TV this week, they had Hulk Hogan on there. What are your views on guys like Hulk? Because obviously, I mean, his whole life has become a TV media sort of excursion, hasn't it?
I mean, I can't knock the fella for the achievements and the success that he's had. What I could say is that it's not my cup of tea, the way he wrestles. I mean, I know he puts bums on seats and all the other cliches you want to go with that, but when I started wrestling, there was no open door, if you know what I mean.
Am I right in thinking that you started wrestling at Blackpool, Pleasure Beach?
Well, no, I started wrestling in Liverpool. I got... at the age of 14, I played for Liverpool schools in football. My father was a footballer, ex-footballer, and everything I ever knew was football. So to even go and watch wrestling in 1978, which was the date when I first went to watch wrestling at Liverpool Stadium, I got looked at all strange by me mates. Wrestling? Because there was no such thing as WWE or Florida or anything like that. It was just... I mean, British wrestling, they all look like maths teachers or geography teachers that give you homework and lines.
Yeah.
But as soon as that bell went, I can assure you, I mean, there are no tougher wrestlers than the fellas from up north, like in Wigan and Bolton and Manchester, and I had to go to these places being from Liverpool. It wasn't a help, you know, with the accent being like, all right, mate. Scousers at the time have always had a sort of degree of watch out. You know, there's a Scouser about.
Yeah, so you can't hide the accent, can you?
I don't want to hide it.
No, it's brilliant. It's such a nice sound.
You know, I am from where I am, and I'll never sort of try and be anything else. But I'm really proud of, you know, the way I came into the job. Whereas now I've got a wrestling school here, and you've no idea the amount of lads and girls who come through the door and say, I want to learn the big moves, which is just the worst thing you can ever say to me, because, you know, wrestling, it ultimately for me is about balance, it's about poise.
And I'm assuming it's also about fitness, isn't it, as well as...
Of course,
just,
you've got to be. I mean, the people that think they can go... I always remember this bodybuilder coming into Wigan. I was only 14 at the time, and there was a fellow called Roy Wood who still runs the Wigan club today. And this bodybuilder came in from Manchester and started shouting, and it's a load of rubbish, and words to that effect.
Yeah.
And there was a fella sweeping up in the corner who had a bib and brace on. He just looked like a Tennessee hillbilly, and his name was something like Job or something like that.
Yeah.
And Roy Wood said, yeah, this fella wants to do with you there. So he took his bib and brace off, and it was like some sort of like David Attenborough documentary. That praying mantis just like wrapped himself around this poor bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Within 30 seconds, he was screaming, saying, "Stop this madness!" And I think it is one of those things where it's like swimming. If you haven't swam in a swimming pool or in the sea or whatever else before, you can't really make judgmental comments about it. And
yeah, you've got to have had a go at doing it. Yeah.
Totally, whether it be on the mat on a Sunday morning when there's no, you know, when it's just cold air, or when there's, you know, a big rampway. And if you go to Japan, you wrestle. I mean, I've wrestled at Tokyo Dome and I've wrestled at the Budokan. Tokyo Dome was about 87,000.
Yeah.
Just incredible. I mean, Budokan was great as well because it's, you know, it's so famous for like Beatles and Led Zeppelin and all that sort of stuff. So I've been really lucky, but that's not to say I'm not looking forward to coming to the G1 next week, because I've got some friends in Gloucester as well, and it's always nice to hook up, and the atmosphere is great with that tiered seating. It's
well, we're lucky to squeeze you in, because this weekend you're in Germany, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm going to Hanover tonight. I've got a match there tomorrow, and then I fly back here on Sunday. I'm actually missing an Everton game tonight, which I'm not too happy about. But
oh dear.
Well, I know. Well, you know, I am from Liverpool, so I'm, you know, the Evertonians are all Scousers. The Liverpudlians are probably there's more. There's a few Liverpudlians down in Gloucester, I believe, as well. So.
Yeah, there's a few about. I know a few actually. My Uncle John's one.
Oh, God, Uncle John.
Yeah, Uncle John, so you have to give him a shout out.
Cheltenham Town and Gloucester City, is there not on football teams?
Gloucester's a big... Cheltenham Town are doing really well. Cheltenham is more football.
Yeah. I think
Gloucester...
there's an Everton player down there as well, a young Everton player, but... anyway, back to wrestling.
Yeah, sorry. I just have to say, though, for all the Gloucester people listening, we're a big rugby town, because they'll be...
yeah. Well, I live in Leicester. So I shouldn't really... I've never really got into the rugby side of things here, like, but so, I have, when I drive into Gloucester, I always go past the ground, and it always seems to be like high.
Yeah, it is definitely. So, how come you made the move from football to rugby? Because I know your dad was a professional player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played for Preston in the 50s, but I just went to watch it one night, and I used to train every night of the week, or have a game for either the school, my Sunday league team, or Liverpool Schools. And Liverpool Schools had a training session, ironically, up in Penny Lane every Friday. So I went to watch the wrestling one night with my auntie, and I'd never known nothing like it. I'd never saw nothing like it.
So where did you make that move? So you watched it, and then what did you do then to get involved? And
I just wanted to go and watch it, that's all. So I started, like, not going to the training sessions, and then they sent a letter to my parents and to my school. I had to stand up in assembly. And they went, "You are an idiot." I could have gone to Brussels or...
And this was all because you weren't attending your football training?
Yeah. And then eventually they kicked me out, and then my dad got into one of my mates and said, you know, I just put a spanner in the works.
Yeah.
And inadvertently, he was the cause of how I got involved, because he went to a wrestler called Carl McGrath at Liverpool, and he said, "That kid thinks it's all fixed there, that blonde lad." And Carl invited me, Kate and me mate, to go to this wrestling club in Liverpool. It was on the outskirts of Liverpool.
Yeah.
On the Sunday, and got my head ripped off my shoulders, blood coming out my ears, blood coming out my nose, and I thought, they're not going to beat me. They're not, I'm going to have another go. And I came back the next week, and same thing happened. And for 4 weeks, they just like what we call scafing, which is when you want to move and you can't move, and then they move you. And like they're sort of dragging your face along the canvas. and
so you went through that for 4 weeks and you still carried on. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't it. I just thought to myself, they're laughing at me now, but I'm going to keep on coming back. And it was that sort of spirit and that's how I started. And then they started showing me some moves, and then it was obvious to everyone that I didn't want to go to the Olympic style wrestling.
Yeah.
So I got taken to Rill, and I used to put rings up the weekends and then summer season, and I do timekeeping and seconding, and before the shows the lads would get in the ring and throw me about and teach me a little bit, and that's for 2 years that's what I did. And then I left school on the Wednesday, went to London on the Thursday, and I was in Valencia, Spain, in 1982.
Wow. And how old were you? 16 at this?
16, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. How old were you when you won your first title?
Do you know what? I would say I was about... Titles were never really the main thing. It was about progression when I was younger.
Yeah.
I went through the last of the British apprenticeships by some of the great names in the business, but, Salt and I would have loved to have gone for some tartan paint or a long stand or whatever else, but the wrestling apprenticeship was a lot more harder and more aggressive and more mind-blowing than that. You
were a regular tag partner of Stephen Regal, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or William Regal as well, as he's now known. I mean, we're still very good friends, and we still keep in touch. And I was with him when they were touring. I always go and I take my friends and my family along, and he's doing. I mean, I'm immensely proud of his achievements, and that's some other people say, oh, he's better at Brookside. No, I'm not. I'm immensely proud of that. He always wanted to go to America, and some people were ridiculed him when he was a younger lad, and I just think if you want to go out and get something, and it's almost like a Walt Disney-esque like story. He wanted to go, and he's been there nearly 20 years now. Yeah. And for me, he's one of my best friends, in or out the ring. He's, for a long time we've been very close, and I hope, that he can go on from strength to strength. I know we're all looking down our noses a little bit now, like looking over our shoulders a little bit at, the word retirement. And I mean, you don't get any younger. And now when you sit in the dressing room, and I'll be 46 in March, and you look around, they're all young lads, and you hate them because they've got everything that you haven't. They've got the future. They've got every time they put a pair of boots on, they're excited, and
You still sound pretty excited to me, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to. I mean, I'm excited to be going to Germany. Yeah. I've been like a caged rat all week. I've been training and coming back and just staying in and whatever else. So
I interviewed Danny Collins last week on the show, and that was really good as well.
Danny's a hell of a fella. I mean, Danny, like myself, came from the sort of. I think I started a year before Danny, but like. Unlike me, Danny got, championship belts straight off. I mean, I remember watching him on the telly, like, I come back off a week on the camps, particularly hard one, where I'd had all sorts of stunts and ribs done to me.
Was that the holiday camps?
Holiday camps and summer season shows. I mean, there was all sorts of stuff that they did to me. And I looked at Danny, I thought, you jammy thing, he's getting a championship. But, I mean... Danny was, he's a pure legend. And,
the thing is, though, you're all TV wrestling stars because, the events, they're filmed, aren't they? And you are all TV stars. And I know you said, we had a brief chat yesterday about not liking some of the modern technology. I'm not a huge Facebook fan, and you said you're not on it. But you do have your own Wikipedia page.
Madness. Well, do you know what? Someone's done a Facebook thing for me as well.
Have they? Oh, bless them.
I just thought, and my wife turns around because she's got a Facebook and like she's never off it. Yeah. Her and the two kids are just like, oh. And she laughs her head off because people from the past, from the 80s, get in touch, and she can monitor my Facebook, but because I'm not logged onto it, and I won't be logged onto it either.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I was going to say you've got quite a big internet profile, because I obtained some information, and you are all over the internet, very famous. So although you're not into technology yourself, there's a lot of information out there about you.
You know what, H? I've done a video diaries in 1993, and I've got all the tapes. And sometimes you forget what you've done because it's so often, you know, like when you're wrestling in a different place every single day, and you're travelling and you're getting both, and you're trying to also maintain a normal life, because I think it's really important that as soon as you put your boots back in your bag, I think you are a person called Robbie Brookside, and just like Wurzel Gummidge takes
where does WILDCAT come from? Where does the nickname WILDCAT?
The Germans brought that in because one night there was two fans in the ring. They jumped me in the ring, and at the end of it, they wished that they hadn't, and so they called me WILDCAT Brookside. It sounds a little bit nastier as well, but it's as long as they pay me, they can call me within reason what they want to call me, you know.
And what will your outfit be on Saturday?
Oh, well, I'm a lycra man, aren't I? Me sort of non-wrestling, football-going mates from Liverpool, that's what they call me, lycra man.
Lycra man, yeah. so what colours can we expect your lycra to be?
Well,
or is it a secret?
I've got greens, I've got turquoises, I've got royal blue, of course. I usually intertwine that with black, and I've got like black boots and black knee pads, and I'll wear some sort of like mad top to come in the ring to.
I've looked at some of the photographs of you up on the internet. Now, is your hair still long?
It is, yeah. I mean,
now, does it get pulled a lot? Do you lose a lot of hair?
It does, yeah, and it's terrible for your split ends as well. But no, it's extra long at the moment. And my youngest stepdaughter said to me, she said, "Look, you're 46 in March. You should get your hair cut."
Yeah.
But I mean, saying that, it's part of what is...
it's part of your style, isn't it?
Yeah,
your
it's long hair. It's been there for more or less 25 years now.
Yeah. So you're used to it getting pulled then?
Oh, yeah, it gets pulled. The worst thing is when you're in a championship match, and championship matches are very cagey. I suppose it's like comparing a 2020 game to a test match.
Yeah.
You know, the test match is a long grind in 5 days. And sometimes when you're sort of grappling on the floor and whatever, the hair gets in your mouth. Oh, there's nothing worse than that. When you want to breathe and you can't breathe and you're just sucking split ends.
Yeah, I mean, DJing, it gets in my mouth, but I imagine I can sort of move it out quite easy. But I imagine when you're wrestling, it must be, quite difficult.
No, you've got some Austrian grok with, like, big python arms wrapped around you, and you've got all the back of your hair, like, going through up your nose and down your mouth and all.
Well, Gloucester's very own, the Bulldog Matt Jarrett, he's lucky because, of course, he's got no hair, has he? You know, he's...
well, I'm not going to have a go at the lad, am I? You know, and also he's the paymaster, so I think he's took his fringe back a little bit, shall we say?
Right, so if people want to see you, it's February the 4th, GL1 Leisure Centre in Gloucester. Doors open 7 p.m. Tickets you can get from the GL1 box office, and the ticket price of those, just £10 for adults, £8 for children, or you can get a family ticket, which is 2 adults and 2 children. Great value on that one at £30. And tickets are on sale now, and my advice is go out there and get them before they all sell out as well.
And let's take the roof off next week. I mean, they normally do that anyway, but next Saturday night I'll be bringing me composing stick beforehand, and we're gonna rage hard next week. Yeah,
definitely. So you're not going to tell us whether you think you're going to beat Essex boy Filthy Phil Powers, are you?
Well, I mean, people who know me would say that I wouldn't turn up if I didn't think
you wouldn't turn up if you didn't think you were going to win.
I'm not going to, do the let me tell you something, that type of thing. All I'll say is the people that know me, from the moment I come to the ring and from the moment I leave, I'm shouting, I'm kicking, I'm fighting, I'm moving, I'm performing from start to finish. And if I'm good enough next week, I'll be taking the championship back up the M5 to Leicester.
Brilliant stuff. So I've just had a quick message come in, a text message from Matt as well, from Matt Jarrett, the English Bulldog. He says, say hi to Robbie for me and big respect to you as well.
West Side, Matt.
Right, well, thank you ever so much for doing the interview with us on GFM. And, if people want to catch you, get yourselves down to GL1 Saturday, February the 4th.
Can't wait.
Thanks ever so much. And
thank you, H.
all the best for Saturday as well. Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's the word, you heard me?
GFM.